you got the questions, you got this right?
Well, we can proceed any number of ways. I guess the first thing to do would be to ask you to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, your flying, and what you were involved with, and your connection with the Tuskegee Airmen.
Well, the person who knows more about all of the Tuskegee Airmen is Zellie. I know a little bit about one Tuskegee Airman. And I have a question with Zellie. Zellie, are there any original Tuskegee Airmen here today?
Yes, sir.
How many?
You
Just one.
Yes.
Good. There's a reason why I'm asking that question. Because I'm a good soldier, you have to go to, when you go to a strange place, you have to check it out and see what you're up against. Now that I know I'm the only original Tuskegee Airman here, I can tell any lie I want to. Well, once upon a time, people love to fly. When the airplane would fly over, everybody would stop and look up. I'm an old farm boy myself, and I would stop that mule and look at these airplanes fly because people wanted to fly. Now, they don't quite look at it the same way. They don't want that thing flying around my house making all that noise. I hope they kept an airport out there someplace. When the Tuskegee Airmen got started, there were 16,000 elderly, 16,000 men, women, and men and women. Now there's about, what, 100 or 200 left? We're getting to be few in numbers. I would like to sit here and tell you a lot of stories. When the Tuskegee Airmen were founded or got started, I was a student in college at a little school down the road here called Tuskegee. You probably heard of it. And there were some guys who would walk on that campus, and they would walk so tall, so straight, so erect. And they said, that's the best we got. Them's Tuskegee Airmen. And I noticed, just incidentally, that the girls had quite a crush on them guys. It was rumored, now it's not the truth, but it was rumored, that if the War Department ever lost the records of the Tuskegee Airmen, all they had to do was come to Tuskegee and ask the girls. I don't believe that, and I hope you don't either. I was a Tuskegee Airman, and I went to school at Tuskegee, so I did see the airmen before I joined up. I started out taking pilot training. Yeah, I wanted to fly. Everybody wanted to fly. And you know what? I got 1 week from graduation, and I got washed out. I was very heartbroken. There was another guy from Alabama named Macon. He made it. And we wanted to make it together, but we didn't. He made it, I didn't. He went to combat. He got shot down, but he walked away. He's alive. He just passed away just a few weeks ago, not too long ago. Zellie keep in charge of all that kind of thing. Then there was another guy, I think he passed away now, driving. Now they said that guy could make an airplane walk. We had a class at 11 o'clock. And if we would go to class on time, the professor would let us out a little bit earlier so we could run to lunch and beat everybody there. So one day while we were getting ready to go, the professor was talking and a P-40 flew over the building where we were teaching. And when you put a P-40 in low pitch, and fly real low, ain't nobody gonna out-talk that P-40. So that P-40 came over our building, he pulled up, he did a wing over, came back a little bit lower. And the professor said, let's go to lunch. And somebody who knew more than I did, that's old Lieutenant Dryden. That was one of the first people to graduate. Is that right, Zellie?
Second class.
One of the first. He made it through the whole war. He came back. Now, I don't quite know how to tell this story, but I'll try to tell it anyway. You have heard a lot about the red tails. You heard a lot about the P-51, quite an airplane, a lot of airplanes. But there's another airplane, I don't see one up here yet, called the B-25. You have any B-25s in here? Well, in case you don't remember, that was the plane that bombed Tokyo. It's also the plane that the other group of Tuskegee Airmen learned to fly. That was our plane. When I got washed out as a Tuskegee Airman, they sent me to Bombardier School. And I became a bombardier, and I sat in the nose of the bombardier. And everywhere that B-25 went, I was the first guy to get there. Well, I didn't do much after I got there, but I was the first one to get there. The war ended, and some of us went back to school. I went back to school, and I went to a school up north called Syracuse University. I'm not Jim Brown. Don't get me confused now. I'm not Jim Brown. He's a football player. And I went out and became a member of the New York Air National Guard, and I flew with them. And you know, that was the stupidest thing I ever did in my whole life. Here I am, a married man with a wife and one child, trying to get a college degree, make a living for my parents, fly an airplane. An airplane flying is a dangerous business. And I must say, one time, we were going on a gunnery trip down South Carolina. We had an accident. We lost 2 people, 2 airplanes. My son was in the 3rd grade. And he said, Dad, you gotta just stop flying an unsafe airplane. Well, a few weeks later, I did stop flying unsafe airplane. But I want to point out that the Tuskegee Airmen did more than fly airplanes during World War II. Some went on to become doctors, lawyers. There's a guy who ran the great city of Detroit, Coleman Young, Tuskegee Airman. I knew him quite well. There was another guy who became Secretary of State under the Ford administration, a guy named W.T. Coleman, a classmate. And he promised me that when he got to be up high, he's going to let me be his secretary and just talk to people when they would come to his place. He said I had a great talking voice, but that's about all I could do was talk anyway. I would like to sit here and just tell you a lot of stories about the Tuskegee Airmen, but that would be greatly unfair to you and unfair to me. However, if you have a couple of questions, I will try to answer them for you. No questions? No, not one? Very good.
Now I know why I'm sitting next to him. As we said earlier, I'm Jacob Younginer, and I guess the best way to put it is I'm probably the young guy in the group. I was born in 42 at the time. They were making their great mark in the world. And so I'm much younger than, too young to be an original Tuskegee Airman. But I did wind up going to Vietnam and was in the Air Force doing all of that. That's the best way to put it. It's nice and mixed company during that time. And so I have some experience with the Vietnam War and was still in the Air Force when we were doing the Desert Storm bit and was supporting that. So if you have any questions, and I won't go into a lot of the details of Vietnam other than to say that the guy that was here first was talking about the plane that crashed that he was told to get out of. I was told to get out of a plane in Vietnam. And it was a Saturday afternoon, it was my day off. I had a habit of going out and flying with the pilots on my day off when I got one. And I had already gone through the pre-flight, had my helmet and everything, was out at the plane to fly with one of the Vietnamese pilots, a guy named Ming. And I got to go up and said, hey, the boss said we're going to have a softball game. You better get out of that plane and go home back and play softball. And I said, they won't miss me. He said, yes, he will. He sent me up here to tell you you better come back. You didn't know I was going to go fly. So I got out and went and played softball. And Ming never came back. He got shot down.
My name is James Hollin. I go by JT, and I might have some friends in here. I flew for, I'm the president of the Atlanta chapter of Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen have about over 50 chapters nationwide, and I was fortunate to be elected president of the chapter for a couple of years and meet all these distinguished gentlemen and associate with all the former aviation and military people. I'm an Air Force veteran. I flew F-4s. This goes way back. I flew F-4s at the time. We were sent over to Korea with the Pueblo overseas. We had a pool of TUI over there for a while and all sorts of other things that were pretty well classified in those days. Later on, I flew as a forward air controller, which for the Air Force is not really a fun position, but you have to fly and coordinate with the Army and Marines to direct airstrikes and with the Vietnamese Air Force. So I flew in Vietnam for a year, came back and got on with Delta. I flew with Delta 31 years, so I may have a couple of my Delta buddies out here who are retired. But my career is pretty much strongly aviation, and I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed the association with the Tuskegee Airmen, and that's briefly my biology, but resume.
Sir, can I ask what your organization does? I'm sure you don't just sit and tell war stories. What was your purpose? And it must be significant if there are 50 organizations like yours throughout the country.
Yes, it has two primary purposes: to maintain the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, the original Tuskegee Airmen. We call them documented original Tuskegee Airmen. We try to maintain that legacy as far as their spirit, their courage, their devotion to duty, and all the inspiration they gave to minority youth over the years. And our second purpose, to encourage youth to go into careers, not necessarily related to aviation, but science, technology, engineering, and math. So those are the two full purposes of the Tuskegee Airmen organization. We do have a summer program coming up in 2 weeks in the Atlanta area. We've got about 30 youth coming in. They'll be exposed to aviation at Delta simulators. They'll get discovery flights. They'll learn a little bit about basic aviation science and things of that nature. So we try to emphasize the youth, inspiring them to go into aviation or science-related fields also.
So do you take your message out to high schools and to universities?
A lot of our members do go to speak at elementary schools, high schools. A lot of gentlemen on this panel here. There's a demand for having original documented Tuskegee Airmen come to speak at organizations, but a lot of them can't get around as well as Dr. Pouncy does, so there is that demand to have speakers, but we do try to. There's the couple of elementary schools, one's called the Tuskegee Airmen Global Academy in the Atlanta area, and they are getting a lot of exposure to the history and legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen also.
Thank you.
Question?
Got a question, sir.
Yes,
What is the age requirement for your summer program?
between the ages of 14 and 18. Yes, sir.
How'd you like flying the F-4?
It was a great machine. It was pretty powerful. Carried a big bomb load. And it had a pretty high ceiling. We, on a test flight, they go up to 60,000 feet and come back down. It was a great airplane. It wasn't too good at high altitude maneuvering, but low altitude, it could maneuver pretty well.
If I might add a little to your question that you had a minute ago. Back in early April, I went to my home church in South Carolina, and it's called Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. Well, for over the years, it changed it to Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church while I was in the military, so I don't know how that came about, but anyway, as far as I'm concerned, it's still Pleasant Hill. I was over watching my brother be ordained as a deacon emeritus because he's close to my age and about ready to step down as a head deacon. I got back to church the next day, and I got a call from a minister asking me to come speak on their youth Sunday on the 30th of April about the Tuskegee Airmen. And he was from Old Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. Well, that was a little confusing to me. I thought he was from South Carolina. He asked me until when I agreed to do it. We talked for a while, and he wanted to know a little bit about me. And I mentioned that I'd go out to schools, and I've done quite a bit of that, and speaking to the youth in schools all around in the Georgia area, local. And so I said I agreed to do it. He said, well, would you need any lodging or anything? And I said, well, I'll be going home. Back elections in South Carolina. It turns out the Old Pleasant Hill Baptist Church is over in Conyers. And I live in Stockbridge, and it's right around the corner from me. But to answer your question, yes, we do that, and I did quite a bit of it and still do.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Ron Hutchinson, and I have a pretty extensive, I might as well say, career in aviation. I've been in aviation like 67 years. You look at me and say, how could he be in there 67 years? Well, I started off when I was 13 years old, and I went to Manhattan Aviation in New York City. First of all, I didn't know what an airplane looked like. I was scheduled to go to a parochial school starting in September. In the middle of the night, something came to me, and I always say, I refer to him as the man above. He called whatever he wanted. Came to me and told me to go to school for aviation. I woke my father up in the morning. I said, I want to go to school for aviation. Now, remind me, television was in its infancy. Everything was in its infancy. And if you really think about it, the Air Force was only actually desegregated in 48. So by the time I got out of high school, which was 54, I wore brown shoes, I had to dye them black, everything. Plus, in my particular class, I went to school for B-47 down in Amarillo, Texas. I was the only one that looked like me. And this was a whole series of classes like this. And to show you how much they really mess with young people, when I went up for screening, they asked me, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be an aircraft mechanic. I never wanted to fly. Never wanted to fly. I said, I want to be an aircraft mechanic. They tell me, aviation's closed. And mind you, when this happened, this is in the 50s. They came back at me 3 times, what do you want to be? I said, I went to 4 years of aviation high school. I said, I don't want to be anything but an aircraft mechanic. So they gave up on me. But when they cut orders, I went to school for B-47, which was actually the last time I saw the 47. Because when I left there, I wound up going to a fighter squadron, which is air defense. Now, this is during the time of tail end of Korea. I was fortunate enough not to have to go to Korea, even though at the time I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't care what they sent me. I just joined the Air Force. Whatever they did with me, they did with me. I was in there. I gave them that commitment. But I think the time I was in, there's a lot of young people in here that might have came into existence during the time I was in.